Okay, Geometry, Chapter 1, Lesson 4, Video B. We're going to look at rays in this video. Last video we looked at segments, so let's go ahead and look at rays. And again, this paragraph is in your book. You want to read the sentences of the paragraph and then pick out the key points. That's how we want to take our notes. Okay, we don't want to copy anything. We have printers and copiers that can do that. So here it says a ray is a part of a line consisting of one endpoint and all the points on the line on one side of the endpoint. Okay, so let's take a look at these major points here. A ray, first of all, is a part of a line. Now a segment is also part of a line. So in this way they're similar. And one of the things you're going to be required to do is be able to write a paragraph that compares a line segment with a ray. What are they? How are they similar? How are they different? And naming them and all the characteristics. So we want to be able to know the difference and be able to discuss those differences. So make sure you were looking for things that are similar and things that are different. So this is one of the ways they're similar. A ray is part of a line, and so is a segment. A ray includes one endpoint and all the points to one side. You remember a segment has two endpoints and all the points in between. A ray is one endpoint and then all the points that go to one side. So part of a line. So one endpoint and all the points to one side. So we look right up here in the diagram here, we have a ray. Notice that Y is the endpoint, and then we're looking at the pink part of the line, which all of the points going this way, of which X is one of those. So a ray is an endpoint and then it goes on forever in this direction. Now there is another ray. We could use Y and all the points going this direction would be another ray, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. But the important thing here is to recognize that a ray has only one endpoint. How is that the same or different than a segment? Well, a segment has two endpoints. So in that way they're different. How are a ray and a line similar? Well, a line goes on forever in both directions. A ray goes on forever in just one direction. So in that way it's part of a line. It's similar to a line but different than a line. Does that make sense? Maybe not, but hopefully we can continue to discuss this and clear it up. Now, how do we name a ray? Okay, we have to be able to name these. So we're going to use two letters and we have to put the endpoint first. Now this is very, very important because this is a different than naming a line segment. You remember when we name a line we can use two letters and the order didn't matter. We could use line AB or line BA, still the same line, no different. With a line segment we used the two endpoints, A and B. And again, the order didn't matter. A and B segment, B and A segment, it's actually the same segment. However, with a ray, the first letter must be the endpoint. You cannot switch these. So notice again up here, the beginning or the endpoint of the ray is Y. Notice that when we named it, we used the Y first. It has to come first. The endpoint must be first. So that's a difference between a ray and naming a ray and naming a segment or naming a line. Another thing about this is to name the ray. The second point that we're going to use is a point that is actually on the ray. Again, if we look up here at our example, X is on the ray. We're looking at the ray that goes to the left here. All these points to the left. I can use any point over here that's on the ray. In this case, the only point that they give me is X, so I have to use X. So the endpoint is first, and then any other letter that's on the ray in order to name it. That's the second thing. The third thing then is, what happened? The third thing is we use the ray symbol. And again, the symbol is very important when it comes here. Because remember, how many letters do we use to name a line? Two. How many letters do we use to name a segment? Two. How many letters do we use to name a ray? Two. So how do you know which one you're talking about? The only way to know is to use the different symbols. So you have to remember what you're talking about and which symbol. A line, if you're talking about a line, two letters with the line symbol, the one with the arrows. Segment, two letters with the segment symbol, just the segment, no arrows. With a ray, it's two letters, although the endpoint has to be first, and the symbol is the ray that points to the right. Now this is another very important point. The ray symbol, look right here, always points to the right. It doesn't matter which direction the ray is pointing. The ray symbol that I use over the two letters always points to the right. Look up here at the example. Notice that the ray itself, yx, goes to the left. But when I name it using the endpoint first, the symbol points to the right because the ray symbol always points to the right. Okay, so remember those three things when you're naming.